everybody, and welcome to another episode of Horror Movie Night. We go camping in the woods this week. Adam is dressed as a thug, but you better not play some Tom Jones or he'll start dancing all over the place. Scott looks like Seth Green, so we'll just stick with that motif. And I've been infected because we're talking...
Wait, so in this scenario, I am Alfonso Ribeiro?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense to me.
I will 100% take that compliment. Thank you. Awesome.
You're thug Alfonso Ribeiro.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you guys want to play some b-ball or shoot again?
I just want to play with that dog, actually. That dog is super cute, and I was so fucking mad when it died.
Oh, I know.
So this is Scott's pick, right?
Yes.
I think I did okay for once.
Yeah. Knocked it out of the fucking park.
But when I was watching it, I was like, oh, why did Scott pick this? Like, that dog dies so horrifically.
I did it because Clint Howard for you, and I did the gooiness for Matt because I know how Matt likes it.
Yeah, gooey.
I appreciate you, Esteban.
Esteban! But yeah, no. Ticks is one of those movies that I remember seeing the VHS all the time as a kid and was so excited when I rented it and loved it so much. And then it finally came out on DVD and Blu-ray a year ago. And I snagged a copy real quick because I was like, I need to own fucking Ticks. This is a movie that needs to be owned and shown to as many people as possible. So I'm super excited that Scott picked it.
The funny thing is I'd never even seen it until last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't even a video store find for me. I couldn't tell you what the VHS cover looked like. This is my very first time watching.
It's a girl cringing in terror and a giant tick superimposed over top of her, over her face, basically, over on the side. Yeah, I looked at I think that the VHS art had, the VHS cover had, the back cover had Clint Howard with his, I'm infested face. And it scared the piss out of me because I grew up in the woods, and I've always hated ticks.
Even Clint Howard's normal face kind of scares the piss out of me. So,
all right. So okay, I've gotten this broken down. I have the plot pretty much broken down. So we'll just do this that old school way of
yes, please. Let's walk through. Let's walk through. All
right. So Seth Green has had some traumatic shit happen to him in this movie. So his dad is sending him out into the woods with a group of counselors, and he bumps into Carlton from Fresh Prince. So it's not until later that we find out what the traumatic shit was that happened to Seth Green. And when you
but they establish that shit happened in the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then never again do we ever touch on that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that being said, when they eventually... I'm going to jump ahead real quick to what actually happened to him. So his dad and him went camping, and his dad got drunk and left him in the woods by himself for a couple days. So I don't really see how his dad dropping him off to be in the woods for a little bit is going to help the situation.
Hey, son, sorry for fucking up your world when I had a drinking problem. Probably still do. I'm going to go on a bender while you're gone. But here, go to this camp. Maybe you can, get your dick wet or something.
So unknowns to this group of 8 people that are going into the woods, there's some pot plantations out there. And
oh my god!
And the stuff that they're using to make
they're cash croppers. One of them is Clint Howard, who we are given purview to what's happening with Clint Howard as this movie goes along, and that scene where that goop was falling out of the bottom of the machine, and it started okay, so there's goop falling out of a machine, right? And it goes through the floorboards, and it lands on a tick egg or something like that. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, is weed is gonna make this tick grow big? Holy shit! Oh my god!
I think that you just got about as excited for weed as Kevin Smith. So I don't know.
This is the movie Kevin Smith wishes he could make. This is fucking funny. This is actually hilarious. But But honestly, I was like, wow, why aren't these ticks more chill? Like, they should be just chilling out, you know?
Well, I like that they bring it up later, but because of the fact that marijuana is part of what makes them grow, when they bite you, you start tripping balls.
Yeah. Except
the vet literally describes it as an LSD trip, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty specific there, Doc.
Very specifically not weed.
Yeah, you've been to a few music festivals, have you? What's going on?
Dude, she wants to go to Pitchfork every year. So we missed a couple things.
Go for it.
Best quote of the movie. Alfonso's hanging tough, and he's like, "They call me Panic, 'cause I never do." I'm like, wait. Carlton as a gangster. I think he picked this movie so he could be like, yeah, I really need to get away from that goody two-shoes bullshit on the Fresh Prince. I really need to work my acting chops.
I didn't even think about it but that is 100% why he chose this movie. Absolutely.
He overacts the shit out of it. I mean, it's great. It's awesome.
Seth Green was like 12 years old, 12, 13 when he fucking filmed this movie. Alfonso is the same height as him. Same height.
No. Seth Green is probably like 17 in this movie because he was in Can't Buy Me Love, and that's when he looks like a little shit.
Yeah, he's in Pump Up the Volume too.
And Airborne.
This is far and away from Buffy, which like had him being like this tough, like stoic guy. I like to think he is younger than that because a 17-year-old should know better than to have that haircut. Like that is really not a.
Yeah, the 93, man. That was everyone's haircut.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
This was way worse in Airborne, I promise you.
This was Seth Green in that era when he was doing Nerf gun commercials in a mall.
What?
Wait, have you never seen that? There's a Nerf commercial starring Seth Green where they're running around a mall shooting Nerf guns at each other.
All right, listen. Seth Green was born in 1974, so he was fucking 19 when he did this movie.
Jesus Christ.
I should have known better. Should have known better.
He is 5'4" tall.
Oh my God! Are you for real?
His wife
is
super, super attractive. Have you ever seen a picture of her?
Well, I mean, he lives in Los Angeles. That's bound to happen. Okay, so they all pile in the van, Alfonso included.
Wait. You're missing a character here. The dickbag who comes up with a vest and no shirt. That was
Rome. His name is Rome. Yeah.
That like, dude, no shirt and then a vest. It was like code for douchebag in '93, I think, because it's always like the douchey badass type character in all these horror movies. Always. It's the only people you see with a vest and no shirt.
Dude, if I had those abs, I'd fucking show him off too. That guy's got a solid set of abs, man.
Well, he's got steroids with him for those abs. That comes into play too.
Okay. So they all pile in the van, and they're going to a wilderness retreat, which I don't understand. I mean, I guess it's supposed to help them, but, like, the two people that are supposed to be their counselors, like the adults in this situation, just go to the cabin and fuck. Like, they don't pay any attention to this. But whatever. So they get into, like, the town that they're going to. Alfonso starts rooting through everybody's bags, and he finds Rome's steroids, whatever. We meet Jerry, who's this creepy, awful teeth hit guy.
Who, like he's 60?
Yeah. Oh man, that guy is weathered.
When you meet him, there's a flyer in the background that says "Marijuana, the assassin of youth," and I'm like,
yeah, I do remember that. When people in this movie say marijuana, they say marijuana. They say marijuana. I love it. I mean, come on, Seth Green. Fucking tell them what's up. I'm sure you've smoked pot before. What's up? Okay. Anyways, so Jerry hits on Melissa. And I really want us to remember the Melissa character, okay? Because I have some important shit to talk about her later.
Is Melissa the main female?
The main girl, yeah. Who hates her parents, whatever. Her dad is like the counselor or whatever the fuck. And then there's also the Asian girl whose name I don't remember, but for a half a second, I thought she was going to be the love interest because she gives Seth Green like a very, like they have like a very, like a look for a minute, but that amounted to nothing because he's still all into Melissa. Anyways, so here we go. So they eventually get to the cabin. They're all there. They get all set up. Alfonso takes the top bunk because it's prison rules or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Well, the male counselor is recording like this weird Star Trek journal entry. There's that scene that I love where he's just like...
Oh, there's that voiceover. Yeah.
It's like Captain's log. Captain's log. I'm not sure if this is going to work for these kids. They are disturbed beyond anyone's control.
Yeah, as they're doing like next to nothing. Like Alfonso Ribeiro is throwing sticks at the sign or something like that.
Dude, he's chucking an axe at it. He's
throwing
an axe at it.
Thank you.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the weird thing. Alfonso seems to know these people, right? Like he knows them by first name basis, like Debbie and Doug or whatever the fuck their names are.
Like he's been there a bunch of times or something.
Exactly. Like this must be a really ineffective camp because they are like Alfonso is still fucked up. He's still a street kid. What are you doing? You're not helping him. What the fuck?
And they let him bring his dog, so that's cool. Until later.
Best character in the movie.
Yep. So,
okay, Clint Howard's pretty fucking good.
He is well, and that's where I was about to jump to. So we jump back to Clint Howard after we've established these characters in the woods, and he is just massacred by these giant ticks in his little shanty town.
The
tent
weed
guy.
He's a real tent guy, isn't he? The weed was too dank, and it got the ticks all fucked up. So they've grown to like exuberant size, like they're really, really big, and they attack Clint Howard. Clint Howard, for some dumbass reason, has a bear trap right in the middle of his workshop. So he steps on that, and then he gets attacked by ticks. When he wakes up, he notices that they're in his body. They're like crawling underneath his skin. So he shoots the shit out of his own leg a bunch of times.
Adam, were they crawling in his skin? These wounds they cannot heal.
They cannot heal. Oh man, nice shot.
Hey man, nice shot there.
So, anyways, he shoots the shit out of his leg, and then we cut away from Clint Howard. We're back to these kids, and again, I reiterate, the counselors, the people that are supposed to be taking care of these youths, go to bed at like 8 p.m. to go and have sex with each other, right? Like I guess they're a married couple, so whatever. In God's eyes, that's okay. But inappropriate fucking time to do it because Alfonso Ribeiro dumps a bunch of gasoline on this fire and creates like a huge fireball, and then he has to come out and put it out and blah 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 blah.
Shadowing though there, so they actually did care about writing this script because they're like, "Are you trying to start a forest fire?" It's foreshadowing.
Yes. Spoiler alert for those who didn't watch Ticks yet.
Yeah, shit burns down.
Yeah, let me sort of smash that visage for you because earlier in the movie, there's a scene where the dog gets a tick, and Seth Green is like, "Oh, it's a tick. You know, you can't crush them. You have to burn them because they're too hard to crush." And then that is followed by
the mutants.
Yeah, they just stomp on them constantly. They're just constantly stomping on them.
Listen,
I guess
the weed juice made them very goopy. It did not.
Oh. When the weed's too strong.
I don't know though, because I'm trying to think if it would be awesome or more ridiculous if like Seth Green sees this tick, right, and he brings his booted foot up and stomps down and fucking nothing, like stepping on a turtle shell, his foot just like bounces off of it. If that would be like, oh shit, or if it would just be like, well, that's fucking stupid. That looks dumb as hell.
I want that to happen, and then Seth Green to look right in the camera and go, "Oh right, we established that earlier."
The ticks have varying amounts of like tensile like their skin has varying amounts of tensile strength because like the one that gets stuck on Seth Green's lip is like a really hard scone, you know? Yeah. But the one that gets stomped by the vet, the same one, just a different part of the scene, is like a jelly donut. So I don't know. I guess we're just going to have to let ourselves believe that. That
it doesn't matter. It fluctuates on depending on how the scene calls for it. But where are we? Okay,
I'd say we're at the dog. Yeah. So Panic's dog is attacked and killed by something, and you hear a pretty horrific noise.
Wait. How dumb is it that he's called Panic? How fucking dumb is that? Okay, so they call me Panic because I never do. Okay, if that was the requirement for for nicknames, like, hey, they call me I Shit My Pants because I never did. Like, it's just stupid. Like, what a dumb way to get a nickname. Fuck.
I'd be called Getting Laid.
Oh my god. Man, no one roasts Matt Kelly like Matt Kelly.
No, that's like in the 4 years that we've been doing this, I couldn't have thought of a burn that good. That was fucking great.
Anyway, so Panic is upset about this dog and runs off into the woods full of anger, while Seth Green and the camp counselors are like, well, let's take this dog to the vet and figure out what the fuck happened to it. And no one's really looking for Panic. Like, no one is looking for Panic at this point. They're just like, all right, well.
There's a scene where he's, like, hiding behind some rocks, and they drive by in the van, and he's like, oh, geez, don't look for me too hard. And I'm like, what do you want them to drive up on those rocks, you fucking asshole? What the shit? You're hiding. You're literally hidden. Whatever. Fuck. Keep going.
So they get to the doctor's office, and that's when they find that it is a giant wood tick inside of the dog. Meanwhile, Panic is being attacked by these ticks in the woods.
Wait. Best part about that scene is that she's like, oh, something drained your dog of blood. And then she takes your scalpel, or I'm sorry. Yeah,
the needle,
She puts the syringe in, and blood gushes out of the fucking dog. I'm like, where did that come from?
No. The best part was that she like pulls blood out, and then it sucks back in. And I'm unless you directly put that in that tick's mouth, I don't know how this is happening. Like, what the fuck is going on?
So there's this thing that happens in this movie, and it's one of those things that it makes sense in the editing of the sound, but in the actual like realm of the movie, it makes no sense. Which is like when these ticks run, it's like it's so much noise. But there's like this scene where Seth Green is looking for it, and it comes running right past him, and it's the loudest like sound.
I actually thought that when I was watching that scene. I actually fully thought that, like, it's in the veterinarian office, right? Yeah. And it's they're like, where'd the tick go? Blah blah blah, and then it keeps cutting back to the tick, and it's like. I'm like, well, you guys could probably just follow the sound because it's pretty fucking loud, right? Like.
It's so fucking loud. Like, they mixed it so goddamn loud in the track that it's like, how did he not know that ran past him?
Oh my god, there's so much of this movie left. Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, the rest of the kids are either going to go fishing, or they're going to go fuck in the woods. And
I want to talk about the fishing scene. That fishing scene upset me greatly.
You mean like when the Asian girl just casually mentions, like, oh, yeah, I'm here because I was raped once, and she's like, oh, yeah, you talk.
That too. And you know what? Melissa just blows right through that. let's not talk about it. That's weird.
Let's go fishing instead.
Okay, so the Asian girl hooks something, right? And she's like, Melissa, go get the net. Go get it. But then Melissa gets in the water, which, by the way, is a nasty fucking little, like, swampy, gross water, which... One, I wouldn't be getting in. So Asian girl, fucking take.
Was she wearing waders or was she wearing shorts? I can't remember, but like
she was wearing just shorts and bare feet, man.
Who's gonna walk in a stagnant pond and then she finds the dead body and she gets water in her mouth? Ugh, That is the gross part.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, she's taking a long time to get over there, and the Asian girl's like, Melissa, hurry up. Melissa, go. Fucking Melissa. Melissa, hurry up. Melissa, fucking hook it. Melissa, put it in the net. I'm like, oh my God, I would drop that net and turn around and smack your face. Fuck you. What do you want from me? Jesus. Oh, she was being such a bitch.
Melissa should have gotten out of that river and had to pick leeches off of her, like in Stand By Me at that point in the movie, too. Like, there's...
Isn't there a killer leech movie, too? Like, I feel like that should be...
There's a bunch of giant leech movies, but...
And we could do skeeters.
There's,
I'm pretty sure,
slugs.
I'm pretty sure it's called Leeches.
Is there a movie called Leeches? Yeah, dude, I've been trying to get us to do slugs for a while. There's probably nothing to say about it, but it's just gross.
Yeah.
We already watched Puppet Master 3. We're all set.
Dude, I watched Puppet Master 1 through 53, so yeah,
that's true. You watched all 75 of the Puppet Master movies.
All right, so while Melissa and Asian Girl have found the dead sheriff's body in the water, the Rome and his girlfriend discover Clint Howard.
Question: who here really wanted to see the blonde girl take her top off? Like, I'm raising my hand right now.
I mean, obviously.
But nobody, you don't see anybody's boobs in this movie, which is okay. It's still a 10 out of 10. I was so expecting to see, because she was like the girl that is set up to be the one who takes her top off, and she does not take her top off. But she does get 2 inches away from a wall of Tic Sacs. So I toss up.
So
well,
yeah.
that is a good indication of how much of a non-character this girl is in this movie, because I didn't even think about her tits. I didn't even think about her taking her shirt off. Like, she was such a non-character that I almost forgot that she fucking existed.
Well, you know what? I think that
ahead.
You're tapping on something too, because I had mentioned on Tuesday after we had recorded our intro for the Horns retroactive episode that I was like, man, this movie doesn't seem like it has that big of a body count. And you guys went through the amount of people who actually die in this movie. But I think it's because there's all
die
these...
in the last...
Well, not just that, it's all these characters are literally set up with no character, like, literally no personality, so you just assume that they're there to be eaten by giant ticks. And then all of them survive, and you're like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, this movie must be genius, because it keeps surprising you. You're like, I want this thing to happen, and it's like, fuck you, no.
Hey, you guys know that there's a Duke in this movie? There's a total Duke in this movie. Yeah. Yo, hey, let's go in the woods and let's go fuck in the shack. What's up? Oh, yeah. Hey,
What happened to you?
This is...
Hey,
my dad used to live here.
This fucking tick's got my leg. What the fuck? I need my steroids. Jesus.
My blues. Where are my blues? I'm gonna
Where's my blues at? Hey, you're my boy, Blue. You're my boy.
So yeah, they find out about the ticks. They discover that there's these giant ticks. Now we're at the point where everyone is back in the cabin, except for Panic.
Shit's on fire.
Yeah, everything is on fire now.
And the best part is the Roy, the guy that looks like he's 60. He's like, the weed, because it's all burning up after they shoot the shit out of Alfonso Ribeiro. And then Alfonso Ribeiro comes in. He's like, they got me.
Yeah, okay, so Alfonso gets beat up in like a weird racial hate crime, and then he gets shot in the abdomen by a shotgun, right? And he's lying on the ground, and he realizes that he's got these steroids in his pocket, so he takes a bunch of steroids. The guys that are... Yeah, the whole forest gets set on fire during that altercation. The guys that are growing the weed, they come back to the cabin. Everyone is all together in the cabin, all at the same place. Alfonso comes back as well, and then points at those guys, and he's like, they did this to me, blah, 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 and then immediately dies, right? So the forest is on fire, and for some reason, all of the ticks in the forest decide to all migrate to this cabin. So everybody's all stuck inside the cabin, There's a lot of tension going on, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to remember what happens before we get into that other room. What happens before we get...
So here's what happens.
Rivero dies, and then a gigantic tick pops
No, that's you're jumping ahead a little bit.
Yep,
Something else happens before... So what happens...
Oh, Jerry drives the car.
Yeah, and he starts tripping balls and imagining that the sheriff is about to shoot him. So he smashes the van into the cabin. And that's how all the ticks get in and start attacking everyone. Like, it just turns into pandemonium at that moment. So everyone starts, like, piling into the van. And then it's Seth Green that's like, all right, I'm going back in. And he, like, goes in, and then that's when Panic's body explodes with this giant tick. And also they're in, like, a weird strobe light room.
Yes. Well, I think it's supposed to be, like, heat lightning or something. I don't know. Who cares? Who cares?
Nobody cares. This movie's retarded, but it's so good. It's so good. I love this movie.
That 200-pound ticks are actually full of propane.
Yes, and propane accessories.
No shit. Man, they actually do explain that earlier on in the movie. They're saying that, like, because they were exposed to this weed, like, the weed is like a propellant. And they're all covered in this propellant if you were to... They do explain that, as dumb as it is.
The weed!
That weed was too dank, yo. It's too loud. What's up? But now that's no...
pitchfork.
Now that's no reason that a tick that came out of Alfonso Ribeiro should be so covered in propellant. Like, that thing was not fucking exposed to any kind of weed juice at all. But fuck, whatever. Yes. Now, that took me a moment. I was like, now how come Alfonso is the only one that, like, this thing is, like, huge? And it took me a minute to realize, because he ate the steroids. And so it made the tick in his body, like, super huge. That actually did take me a second.
So sound.
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
I think that you pointing that out and all that other stuff, though, really, for, like, what this movie is. Because there's been a ton of movies where we've watched where we're like, they didn't give a shit about the story. Like, this movie is absolute 100% straight to VHS B-movie fodder, and they spent so much effort actually making things make as much sense as they could for what the movie was.
For what it is, yeah.
Like, oh man, they are actually giving a lot of thought to this. They are calling back to stuff that happened earlier on, and they're not holding your hand through it either. Like, I just had to figure out that Alfonso thing. Like, they weren't like, oh, the steroids made it big. Like, they just called back. Like, it just made sense. Like, this is... Scott, good fucking pick, man. Good pick. This is really good. But was I the only one that was disappointed when the tick completely busted out of Alfonso? Like, I was hoping that it would kind of like...
Oh, it would wear his body? That would be sweet.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like half Alfonso. I kind of wanted it to still be like wearing his body a little bit. So when it like completely like... like busted out, I was like, that's a bummer. Anyways, so they're in the other room, and like, fucking Duke, fucking Rome. Yo, man, fucking Rome. He took my blues. That guy is like the last one to get out, and Seth Green decides to come back in, light a broom on fire. Yeah, I mean, that guy should have died. That should have been a kill right there. But for some reason, this movie is like really attached to its characters. It wants to keep them all.
It's attached to them enough to let them live, but not enough to give them actual backstories that matter.
Well, that one girl was raped. So.
but they just cruise right past it.
Yeah, I guess that's backstory. Oh, also, Seth Green was left in the woods for 3 days. So there's tons of character building in this movie.
Right. I'm so sorry for assuming.
So he comes back in, he shoves that on fire broom right in that thing's face, and I mean, it shouldn't be covered in propellant, but for whatever reason it is, and it lights right up, right? That's the end of the movie. They all drive away in the van, and then it cuts to, there's like a particular egg pod that they had forgotten about.
Oh no, because they definitely went through the entire woods. They combed the entire woods to make sure there were none left. They didn't just
That's what I'm thinking. There's probably like 100 egg pods that they forgot, like that they didn't notice. That's probably I'm infested. That's probably an infestation of fucking giant ticks. But it doesn't matter. Who cares? So that's the end of ticks. Scott, solid pick. It's really good.
I'm gonna try so hard to make up for all the crap that I've picked over the 4 years of us doing this together.
I'm gonna just keep picking what I normally pick.
Yeah, because yours always work out.
I'm gonna continue my my routine of picking absolute shit that I have no idea what it is. I'm just gonna watch it.
It's about a 50-50 for us.
All right, so what did you guys watch this week?
I will go first. I finished the second season of Daredevil. I finished it like 2 weeks ago, but now is a good enough time to mention it. But awesome. I liked it better than season 1, actually. I thought that I actually gave a shit about the Punisher, which was a gigantic surprise for me because I have always hated the Punisher. But I think that they did a really good job of making him not be as much as a shit stain as I always thought of him as. And I watched, guys, I was surfing through Netflix and gave a little spin to a classic, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Ooh. That's a piece of shit.
Oh, Annihilation.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my God.
The first Mortal Kombat I can get behind, but Annihilation? Did you watch it just so you could listen to podcasts that make fun of it later? Like, is that the only reason that you watched it?
No, I put it on because I was like, I don't remember this movie because I saw it one time, and it is so bad. I didn't even make it halfway.
It reminds you how bad it is within like the first 5 minutes. Like right off the bat, it's just like, hey, you're watching shit.
Yeah, the super shitty green screen CGI background to oh man.
Yeah, no, I own that because I have the double disc Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation DVD, and it is like, just right off the bat, just like, hey, guess what? You're watching garbage. Have fun.
Yeah, like they switch out actors, they kill off characters, like they do so much stuff in the first 10 minutes that you're like, this is all wrong. No, but can we talk about how 1990s sick that Mortal Kombat song where it's like Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I love that song. Like when I'm like, I go for a jog every once in a while, and that's the song that I listen to because I'm like, Mortal Kombat.
Go to jog like once in a while. It's only have one fucking song to listen to. Or do you have two? You flip between the Mortal Kombat theme and Darude Sandstorm? Is that what it is?
Have you ever seen that post? Like, it's a picture on the internet, but it's like somebody went over to their friend's house and they opened up their iTunes, and the only song that was in their iTunes was that Linkin Park song where it's like In the End by Linkin Park, and they had listened to it 30,000 times.
I'm still mad that they took a picture of my iTunes like that. Like,
oh my God.
All right, so
I've been to Matt's house. I can attest to this.
Adam,
he's got way more 90s music in there than just Linkin Park.
Adam, have you watched anything this week?
On the internet, though.
I watched 2 movies this week. One of them I've been meaning to watch. I got it in the mail to review from Arrow Films, and it is the Blu-ray DVD double disc of The Mutilator. It's whatever. It's a great cover.
The cover. We did touch on that.
Yeah. The cover's amazing.
I can't finish it. It's so bad that I can't finish it.
I finished it no problem, but I have a really high tolerance for garbage at this point.
You were also probably fucking eating ice cream and not paying attention while you were watching it. So.
And then I watched, for Weird Ass Movie Night this week, we watched the goriest kung fu movie ever made. Riccio! Riccio, the story of Ricky. Scott, have you seen Riccio, the story of Ricky?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to watch it again.
Fuck you, Scott. I love that movie. That movie's amazing. We're totally watching that. Matt, internet high five. Here we go. Yeah, there it is.
But no, we won't have to watch that episode. But seriously, if you've never seen Riccio, the story of Ricky, all I'm going to say is a dude ties his own tendons back together so he can continue fighting, and that's fucking brutal and amazing.
Yeah, think about all the gross shit that you have seen in movies and then put it all in a kung fu format.
Pretty much.
It is so ridiculous. Anyway, that's all I've got. All right, let's hear what your story is for this week, Adam.
All right, okay, I'll try and be quick because I know it's already running long. So, I was living in my hometown where I am again, but I went to apply to like a Tim Hortons job, which is like a coffee shop, and it was overnight bakery, and that's like an 11 a.m. till 6 a.m. shift. 700 people had applied to that. That's how bad the unemployment in my town was at the time. So I was like, fuck this. This is bullshit. Somebody was like, hey, I'm moving up north. Do you want to come up north with me? Well, I was like, yeah, fuck it. We'll both go up north. 2 weeks into being there, he got in a fist fight with the landlord, and we both got kicked out of the apartment. So now I'm in a strange town 5 hours up north from my from any of my family. And so I had to immediately like move into a crack house. And it was like a legit crack house. Like the guy to the left of me was an alcoholic. The guy to the right of me was a crack addict. The two dudes downstairs sold pills, and the one guy upstairs sold weed. That guy was cool. I was okay with that guy. My room, like it was a boarding house, so I just had a room, right? The slumlord that ran this fucking place, like the place was tiled, and he had decided, I'm going to rip up all the tiles. And he had come in and he had ripped up half the tiles and then got lazy and decided that he quit. So half my room was tiled and half my room wasn't. But it was like a really shitty transition into tile. Like there was like chunks of tile like sticking out. So I was constantly tripping over it all the time. And whoever had been in there before me had like a complete mental breakdown because there was a nail in the wall every 2 inches. So the entirety of the room had a circle of nails around it, which was fucking strange. Like that weirded me out. And there was a big hole. There was a big hole in the wall as well. So that was actually kind of sweet because I would just sweep and then I would sweep everything into that hole and just put it in the walls in between.
What the fuck is your life?
So this was like right before I moved in with Katana Troy. Anyway, so I was dating a girl that used to do like a lot of intravenous drugs. So we were like hanging out there together one day, and the guy that lived to the left of me was a total alcoholic, and he would spend he was on welfare. And he would pay rent and then just spend the rest of his money on alcohol. So he was just hammered all month long. And he would come over to me and he'd be like, hey, will you do me a favor? And I'd be like, yeah, what? And he'd be like, will you put a Band-Aid on me? And he'd pull up his shirt and his back was just covered in open lesions from where he had got drunk and fallen down. Like he fell down all the time. And his dad worked at a bakery. So as opposed to, spending his money on food, he would get his dad to just bring him bread from the bakery, but that's all he ate. All he ate was bread. So he was like the pudgiest, grossest, just like fattest, nastiest fucking guy. Oh, it was awful, awful. There's no real end to this story. Eventually I did get out of that place, but it took me a while to do it. And then I moved in with Katana Troy and had to deal with Tent Guy. So, yeah. But it was a real upgrade. That was really good stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So that was Ticks from 1993, as picked by our very own Scott. We've got a bunch of crazy episodes coming up soon, including, just a minor spoiler alert. Listeners, you might meet Scott's wife soon in a very future episode of this podcast.
Scott, I promise not to tell any of these stories when Megan is on the air.
You say that like she doesn't already laugh about them anyway. She's part of most of them.
So join us as well, if you want to pick some movies, throw us some suggestions at hmnpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, go ahead and send us a rate and review and subscribe. You can also subscribe on SoundCloud. And also, we haven't given a shout out for a while. Also, check out the people at geekscape.net that help this podcast pretty much exist. If it wasn't for them, we'd be doing some really shitty MacGyver Jimmy setup that I had done for our old podcast. Geekscape really opened up a door for us. So big thank you to Geekscape. Go check out their show and also the Geekscape Games podcast, who gives us shout-outs on the regular. So thank you guys for listening. That was Tix. We'll be back next week.
Oh, wow, pat yourself on the back a little harder there, Scott.
Well, I was being facetious, but sure.
All right. Don't break your arm jerking yourself off. All right, so
I'm gonna break them both.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.